It's here. Good morning. You're watching Fox and Friends First. I'm Heather Childers.
And I'm Clayton Morris. Thanks for starting your day off with us. Walking down the street, it's like an exfoliant hitting your face. We begin with that extreme weather. A monster storm bearing down on the Northeast at this hour.
Sure is. 50 million Americans bracing for up to 2 feet of snow, 50-mile-an-hour winds, and devastating coastal flooding.
Yeah, the menacing radar showing what's to come today. This morning, schools from Virginia to Maine already closed as people are urged to stay off the roads.
And air travel already crippled with nearly 6,000 flights canceled or delayed.
Now, we have Team Fox coverage this morning along the Northeast, but let's begin with meteorologist Adam Klotz tracking a brand new path live on our plaza. You're out in it. Good morning, Adam.
There he is.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Yeah, I definitely out am in it here this morning. And the winds are blowing. We're beginning to see visibility lowering just a little bit at this point. Definitely some snowfall beginning to pick up. And it's all about the winds out here very early this morning. As you can see, we're struggling with the winds here ourselves as some of us stuff's about to get blown over out here. Wind gusts have already been up to 35 to 40 miles an hour. The graphics indicating that certainly at this point, temperatures down, getting very, very cold. But we're in an area, a large area, where we're talking about the blizzard conditions. And what is a blizzard condition? Well, it takes visibility to get down below a mile. We'll get below a quarter of a mile. We're not quite there yet. You're looking at temperatures at 29 degrees, snow falling at this point. A little bit farther south, Philadelphia getting a little bit of a rain, wintry mix. That's the case down in Washington, D.C. as well. Here in New York, it's all snow at this point. Here's your winds. Winds getting up close to 30 miles an hour here in New York City. You need a 35-mile-an-hour wind sustained to be talking about blizzard-like conditions. We're certainly getting closer to that. These winds will continue to pick up. Our visibility is at 0.3 miles here in the city. You do see some spots a little farther to the south where it's more of a rain mix. Visibility is a little bit better for folks stretching down in portions of D.C., stretching down a little bit farther to the south. But right along Long Island, right up here farther to the north, that is where visibility is going to be a little bit lower. We're at a half a mile currently in Central Park. It is only going to be getting worse here throughout the morning hours. So I think this is just the beginning, and I'm expecting things to just pick up here in the next couple of hours, guys.
It's a scary-looking map with those winds.
Yes, it is, and you can already really begin to feel them pick up. And again, I think before the morning's over, winds getting up closer to 50 miles an hour. Right now, close to 30.
All right, thanks, Adam.
All right,
Check back shortly.
Thanks, guys.
Well, New York City already under a state of emergency, bracing for more than a foot of snow and blinding winds. Rob Schmidt is live in Union Square, where it's already coming down there. Good morning, Rob.
Hey, guys. Yeah, we had some technical trouble, so we're actually right outside the building here in Midtown. And this is the beginning of what could be a really bad storm. I hope I'm coming through to you guys. We're here at 47th and 6th Avenue, Midtown Manhattan. You can see on the ground here as we go down. Yeah, maybe an inch or two on the ground already. It's been pretty nasty so far. There's been a lot of wind. And this is going to be kind of the face you're going to see all day from reporters, is that stinging wind in your face as it comes down. I think we already talked about the state of emergency being declared in New York. A lot of other places as well. I think New York State, so basically all non-essential people not coming to work today. You're not going to see a lot of people in New York going to work today. The whole East Coast, I think it's 50 million people are going to be impacted by this storm. And this has been a relatively light winter so far. We haven't had a lot, so it's been pretty easy. We had one storm back on February 9th. We were expecting to get maybe a foot. We ended up getting 7 inches. This one, they're calling for anywhere between, I think, 18 and 24 inches for New York City. That is a paralyzing amount of snow. So it's going to shut most things down. You're going to have the undergrounds working, the subways will be working, but most above-ground trains, most of the roads, you shouldn't be out. They're telling you, don't come out if you don't have to. And this is going to start adding up 2 to 4 inches here real fast per hour, they're saying. So we'll see how it comes down. Guys, back to you.
I'm still hopeful. Maybe it won't be that bad.
Your glass half full. All right, thanks, Rob. Stay safe out there.
Thank you. Well, now to our nation's capital. That is where President Trump says that his administration is ready for this storm. Let's get right to Lauren Blanchard. She is live near the Capitol building with more on that. Lauren?
Hi, Heather and Clayton. Well, we don't have quite the accumulation that New York and other areas have. We only have about 1.5 inches from where I am, which is near the Capitol between Union Station. But it's this slushy, icy mix, which makes it for dangerous drivings and really clogs up the roads here in D.C. Now, both the governors of Virginia and Maryland have declared a state of emergency. At this point, nearly all schools in the district and surrounding areas are closed, and parts of 8 states are included in this winter storm warning with over a foot of snow possible in some areas, but from 4 to 8 inches here in the Beltway. This could be President Trump's, or it is possibly President Trump's first potential natural disaster as president. He did postpone a visit by German Chancellor Angela Merkel until Friday, and yesterday he met with D.C.'s mayor and the head of the city's metro system. The metro here has reduced its service today, and Amtrak also running on a modified service up and down the Northeast.
I've spoken with my Homeland Security advisor, who has spoken with the acting FEMA administrator and instructed him to make certain that the federal government is ready to provide assistance to the states. They are literally waiting by the phones and ready to go.
Now, unfortunately, I don't have good snow day news for anybody who works in federal government here in D.C. They do not have a snow day. Instead, they are on a 3-hour delay, or they have the option to telework if that is possible. Heather, Clayton.
All right, thanks so much, Lauren. Live down there in D.C.
Like her hat.
Well, the White House firing back at the budget report, estimating millions of people will lose their health insurance.
Yeah, the replacement plan now getting ready to face its biggest challenge yet, the House Budget Committee.
Chief National Correspondent Ed Henry live at our nation's capital with the next step in the health care showdown. Lots of spin yesterday, Ed.
That's right. Good morning, Clayton and Heather. What's interesting is this is certainly a blow to President Trump and House Republican leaders in their efforts to repeal and replace Obamacare, because the Congressional Budget Office is sort of the independent umpire here. But when you read the fine print, the numbers are not quite as bad as the headline would suggest, and so President Trump is fighting back. Let's look at the numbers. 14 million more people will be uninsured by 2018, they say, if this bill moves forward. Total number of uninsured, 24 million by 2026. Increase largely due to lifting those mandates from the Obama administration, of course. But look at this. Premiums would increase, of course, until 2020 by 15 to 20%, but they would drop 10% under the current market value, meaning premiums have already been shooting up much higher under Obamacare, number one. And number two, this House Republican plan would reduce the federal deficit by $337 billion. So President Trump is fighting a two-front war. Yesterday, he brought in what he called victims of Obamacare. Let's remember the Aetna CEO recently said the current existing law is in a death spiral. And he also sent out his Health and Human Services Secretary, who said, look, this is just phase one. In future phases of implementing more pieces of Republican laws, they're going to cover more people, while Democratic leaders say no. This whole effort is dead on arrival.
The fact of the matter is, if you look at that, it's virtually impossible to have that number occur. It's just not believable, is what we would suggest. And we'll look at the numbers and see.
Now, the House budget
in terms of insurance coverage, it's immoral. How can they look their constituents in the eye when they say to them, 24 million of you are no longer going to have coverage?
Well, the snow has already had an impact on this whole health care fight. There was supposed to be a House Budget Committee markup today on the Republican leadership efforts. That's now been delayed, we're told, until Thursday. And that's going to be something to watch intensively, because there are a lot of conservatives from that House Freedom Caucus on the Budget Committee, and it could be the spot where they try to kill this leadership effort altogether, and that would send the White House back to the drawing board, guys.
All right. Ed Henry in the middle of it all down there. Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Well, the Justice Department now has 6 more days to provide proof to back up wiretapping claims against the Obama administration. The White House saying it's about the broader surveillance activity during the 2016 election, and the DOJ asking for and receiving more time to come up with the evidence. The House Intel Committee may subpoena the agency if it fails to comply by that new deadline.
Well, prosecutors calling the maker of a new Michael Brown documentary pathetic. Prosecutors releasing this full version, frame by frame, meant to disprove the filmmaker's claim in Stranger Fruit. The unedited video showing Brown exchanging bags of cigars with employees, leading to a heated argument. Well, the documentary alleges that Brown did not rob the store, instead was involved in a drug deal. The St. Louis County prosecutor calling the claim stupid.
His pathetic video, it shows the police report where he got the information. Clearly, see, I mean, it's a very poor job of editing in the first place. It's an attempt to generate his 15 minutes, which he got.
The filmmaker standing by his work. And a tip saving a mother of 5 who police say was abducted by her estranged husband. Elisa Summers was found alive in a motel room miles from where she was kidnapped outside of Walgreens near Tampa, Florida. Police arresting Trevor Summers after a witness reported seeing him shove Elisa in the back of her car as she screamed for help. Elisa Summers filed 2 domestic violence complaints against her estranged husband in the past several months.
Well, that White House intruder who told Secret Service he had an appointment with the president ordered to stick close to home. Jonathan Tran, officially charged with entering restricted grounds while carrying cans of mace. He's required to stay within 100 miles of his hometown in California until next month's court date. He faces up to 10 years in prison. The time is now 10 minutes after the hour, and jet skiers getting way too close for comfort to 130,000-ton cruise ship. A decision just in about whether they'll face charges.
Whoa, and media bias alert. The newspapers cashing in on their anti-Trump headlines with T-shirts slamming our president.
And healthcare, the hot topic among Americans right now. Jesse Waters wants to know how people really feel about it.
Do you ladies have health insurance?
Well, I gotta go.
Hilarious.
But first, a look at the weather in New York City.
Shades of winter outside our studios here in New York City. The snow really coming down outside. Our meteorologist Adam Klotz is back at 5:30 with the very latest track on this monster winter storm, so stay tuned for that. Meantime, President Trump ready to eliminate waste in the government, ordering a total examination and reorganization of federal agencies. Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich praising the move.
This is potentially a really big move to gain control over the bureaucracies, to shrink the government, to eliminate waste, and to empower the president's appointees to really go out there very aggressively and do the kind of entrepreneurial job that Donald Trump believes in.
President Trump signing the order while hosting his first cabinet meeting at the White House, tweeting this: proud to welcome our great cabinet this afternoon for our first meeting. Unfortunately, 4 seats were empty because Senate Dems are delaying.
Well, Tennessee challenging the federal refugee program because they don't want to pay for it. The state says the program is forcing them to spend money on additional services like health care and education. The lawsuit calls for it to be shut down until the federal government pays all the costs that it obtains as a result of that program.
Well, the mainstream media and Democrats demonizing President Trump for requesting the resignation of 46 U.S. attorneys, including Preet Bharara. But isn't this just part of the transition? Doesn't this happen normally, Clayton?
It does. Fox News radio host Todd Starnes here live to break down the bias in his 1-minute commentary. Good morning, Todd.
Yeah, that's right. Good morning, guys. You know, Democrats in the mainstream media are fuming after President Trump asked for the resignations of those U.S. attorneys. Some are calling it a scandal, a conspiracy, but it's not. In 1993, Attorney General Janet Reno fired every Republican U.S. attorney. 93, one-day sweep. President Obama did the same thing in 2009. He replaced nearly every U.S. attorney appointed by President Bush. There was no breaking news coverage, no mainstream media hyperventilating. That's because it's perfectly normal presidential behavior. Nothing nefarious here, folks. Investigations and prosecutions will go on. And the moment a U.S. attorney leaves, the first assistant takes over, a career prosecutor. So here's the bottom line. President Trump had every right to ask for the resignations. And all of the faux outrage from the fake news regurgitators, it's a load of grade A fertilizer, the kind you could grow a crop of butter beans in. Back to you.
I want to eat those beans.
I love butter beans.
Not if it's in that fertilizer.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Well, media bias on full display. Newspapers now cashing in on T-shirts splashed with anti-President Trump rhetoric. The Washington Post offering this shirt, which says "Democracy dies in darkness." The LA Times selling shirts that say "Journalism matters." And the Chicago Tribune's featured the line "Speaking truth to power since 1847." The shirts being sold for around $20.
Well, rapper Snoop Dogg igniting outrage with a brand new music video that shows him shooting a clown dressed as President Trump. his new video for the song Lavender, Snoop is teleported to a universe that's inhabited solely by clowns. After a family man is gunned down by a cop, Snoop gets his revenge by pointing a prop gun at a clown version of President Trump and pulling the trigger. But would a musician ever do this to former President Obama? The topic brought up last night on The Hannity Show.
Intolerance actually comes from the left. At the end of the day, the First Amendment is okay for them as long as you're saying what they're saying. If you're not saying what they're saying, then you get protested, you get kicked off a campus.
According to Snoop, his focus on the track was making a song that was not controversial, but for people who don't have a voice. So let's keep talking about this. Did Snoop Dogg's music video go too far, or is this just satire? Easy for me to say. Log on to Fox and Friends' first Facebook page right after the show for a live debate. #KeepTalking.
I'm all disappointed. I like Snoop Dogg. I don't like that video, though.
Yeah, he usually does some comedy stuff, so.
I'm sure he cares what I think. Well, the time now is 19 minutes after the top of the hour, and thousands of passengers stranded at airports across the country amid thousands of flight delays and cancellations.
And we're live at Charlotte Douglas International Airport to see when many people may finally make their way home. With some extreme weather now, the massive blizzard already creating a travel nightmare from coast to coast.
Yeah, nearly 6,000 flights already canceled, done, kaput, and that number is growing by the hour. Lauren Dugan from WJZY live at Charlotte Douglas International Airport with more. Lauren?
Well, good morning, Clayton and Heather. A lot of red on those boards behind me, and that means canceled flights here at the Charlotte Douglas Airport. We've only really seen heavy rain overnight, but obviously severe weather around the country in that winter storm making an impact at the airport and leaving a lot of people stranded this morning. 25 flights that were supposed to arrive to Charlotte Douglas Airport have been canceled, and 27 flights that were supposed to leave the Charlotte Douglas Airport have been canceled. And again, that means a lot of people stuck at the airport waiting and hoping to get on a new flight this morning. Obviously, some of those cities that have been hit include Boston, Baltimore, Providence, and Washington, D.C. But here at the Charlotte Douglas Airport, people are waiting, hoping to find a new flight and get out. And obviously, a lot of those flights were canceled last night in anticipation for the storm. But the good news in all of this is many airlines are offering rebooking for some of those flights that have been canceled this morning. Clayton and Heather?
All right, thanks, Lauren, down there in Charlotte with tracking that storm there. Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you.
Well, 2 spring breakers rescued seconds before being run over by a 130,000-ton cruise ship. They're not going to face charges.
Get in! Get in!
Incredible video showing the 2 women plucked out of the water off Port Canaveral, Florida, moments before they flipped a jet ski, falling directly into the path of a 17-deck Carnival cruise ship. Police say the women didn't break any rules.
Well, you know, somebody always has to ruin all the fun, and this Pennsylvania town is forcing this family to tear down their backyard ice rink. This is the second winter that the family has put it up for the kids, but now town officials have a problem with it. A note to the family says that a drainage easement is on the property and that the structure could cause some problems. The family did appeal, but they lost.
Come on, just run a hose down the sewage line. Well, from internet laughingstock to polar explorer, Bodie McBoatface is back. It's been time. We've been waiting about this. He's ready for her maiden voyage.
The high-tech yellow submarine is set to begin its first mission this week, exploring a deep current that starts in Antarctica and runs through the Southern Ocean.
Of course, you remember the name began as a joke after the British government asked the internet for help naming a new research ship. In the end, they named it, and it was winning. People were picking Bodie McBoatface. But then David Attenborough was the name, and its research sub Bodie McBoatface now named. So it didn't win.
But I like Bodie McBoatface. Say that 5 times fast. It's better.
It's hard, and if your face is frozen because of the weather, it's going to be a lot harder. 25 minutes now after the hour. They may be out of politics, but President Obama's staff is ganging up on President Trump. What they are doing to track the president's every move. And
Netflix offering up a new plot twist, how viewers could soon decide the fate of their favorite characters. Yeah. forecast.
It's a 6th Avenue freeze out. Looking out live right now outside of our studios. You're watching Fox and Friends First on this snowy blizzard morning here in New York City. I'm Clayton Morris.
Yeah, hard at work out there, keeping us safe. Thank you so much for that. I'm Heather Childers. It is half past the top of the hour. And let's get right to that top story. A giant nor'easter bearing down at this hour. 50 million Americans bracing for up to 2 feet of snow, blinding winds, and devastating coastal flooding.
Well, schools already from Virginia to Maine closed. They even closed yesterday as the radar shows what's to come today. Air travel already crippled with nearly 6,000 flights canceled or delayed.
Well, we have Team Fox coverage for you all along the Northeast, but let's begin with meteorologist Adam Klotz, who is tracking a brand new path, and he's live for us on our plaza. Adam.
Hey, good morning, guys. We are in that path you're talking about. Out here on the plaza, they've been cleaning this up nonstop throughout the morning, but it's coming down so quickly that within just minutes we have another half an inch, close to an inch of snow on the ground. And again, this is constantly being cleaned up. We've seen a couple inches so far, and again, we're very early in this system. Let's take a look at the maps because it's different depending where you are here on the East Coast here early this morning. In New York City, all snow at this point, but a little farther to the south, you're looking at areas where it's more of a wintry mix. That certainly is the case down in Washington, D.C., as we're going to continue to watch this track on up the coast. Winds have been right around 30 miles an hour here in the New York City area. Pretty consistently winds in the 20s or close to 30 miles an hour. You need a 35-mile-an-hour wind consistently to get to those blizzard conditions. The winds should continue to strengthen here in the next couple of hours. Here's what we're going to be looking at in visibility. And visibility is important in all this. Where you're looking at more rain, the visibility is a little bit better. But here in New York City, the visibility is low, getting down at times to only around a half a mile. And a quarter mile is when we talk about blizzard conditions. And again, guys, I think within the next hour or 2 hours, what we're seeing out here right now is only going to intensify. So this is just the beginning of what's going to be a long day.
Thanks for the warning.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Adam.
Well, now to our nation's capital. That is where President Trump says that his administration is ready for the storm. Let's get right to Lauren Blanchard. She is live for us near the Capitol building. Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning, Clayton and Heather. Well, it's this kind of icy, slushy snow that's making it really hard to drive here in the district. So far, we don't have the accumulation that many other places in the Northeast are seeing. Where I am, we only have about an inch and a half, but a foot of snow is expected in other areas, and district itself is expecting somewhere between 4 and 6 inches throughout the day. Now, both governors of Virginia and Maryland have declared a state of emergency. At this point, nearly all schools in the surrounding areas are closed. D.C. is on a 2-hour delay, and federal agencies in D.C. are operating on a 3-hour delay, or folks can telework. Now, this could be President Trump's first potential natural disaster as president. He's already postponed a visit from German Chancellor Angela Merkel to Friday, and yesterday he met with D.C.'s mayor and the head of the city's metro system, which has reduced service throughout today, and the president tweeted for folks to be safe.
I've spoken with my Homeland Security advisor, who has spoken with the acting FEMA administrator and instructed him to make certain that the federal government is ready to provide assistance to the states. They are literally waiting by the phones and ready to go.
Now, the unusually warm winter that we've had here has made the ground a little bit warmer than usual, so officials are hoping that means the snow will melt off fairly quickly. Heather, Clayton.
Yeah, one last blast.
Yeah, it is March. And then another storm apparently on its way behind.
Oh, no.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you.
Well, the White House firing back at the budget report this morning, estimating that millions of people will lose insurance under this new Obamacare, what we call it, Trump Care replacement plan. The GOP's plan now set to face its biggest challenge yet, the House Budget Committee. Chief National Correspondent Ed Henry live at our nation's capital with the next step in the health care showdown. Good morning, Ed.
Well, good morning, Clayton and Heather. What's interesting is that the Congressional Budget Office is sort of the independent umpire here, and them coming out with these difficult numbers for the White House could really be a blow to President Trump and the House GOP leadership. So he's fighting fire with fire. Even before this report came out, the president yesterday at the White House charging that the media has largely focused on the positive parts of Obamacare, the millions who have been covered. He acknowledged that, but said there are major problems. So he brought in what he called victims of Obamacare. People have either lost their doctors, lost their plans. So he's fighting fire with fire because this CBO report says the plan he is pushing could end up hurting a lot of people. The CBO saying, among other things, 14 million more people will be uninsured by 2018. Total number of uninsured, 24 million by 2026 if this House GOP leadership bill becomes law. Increase largely due to lifting those Obama mandates. Premiums would increase until 2020 by 15 to 20%, but the flip side of that is premiums would drop 10% under where they currently are, because remember, premiums under Obamacare already spiking, and Republicans noting that CBO also says their plan would reduce the federal deficit by $337 billion. So there was a fight yesterday between the administration and Democratic leaders. Watch.
Obamacare is collapsing. The insurers are telling us the premium increases we got just this year from Obamacare, 25% on average, will be even higher next year. So this, compared to the status quo, is far better.
Trump care would be a nightmare for the American people. The CBO report should be a knockout blow for Republicans in Congress. They should heed this warning and turn back from their plan that would be a disaster for the country.
The real knockout blow could come if conservatives on the House Budget Committee decide to vote against this bill. As you noted, it was supposed to be, there was supposed to be a markup and a vote potentially today or Wednesday, but with this snow, it's now being pushed back, we're told, till Thursday. So some more breathing room for the White House to try to push back here, guys.
Oh, come on, we're working in the snow.
Exactly.
Yeah, we got in.
Come on, Congress.
But they're thankful for that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ed. Well, the president, meantime, giving the CIA the power to take out suspected terrorists with drone strikes. According to the Washington Journal, now, it is a complete 180 from the Obama administration policy, you'll remember. That only allowed the CIA to locate the target. The military was then in charge of pulling the trigger. The CIA first using its new authority late last month in a strike on a senior al-Qaeda leader in Syria.
Former Obama staffers launch a watchdog group to hound the president. The organization called American Oversight, seeking to track the administration's ethics and expose potential conflicts or fraud. The group planning to target federal agencies, including HUD and the Education Department. American Oversight claims to be nonpartisan, despite some of its top officers having deep ties to the Obama administration.
Well, the time now is about 20 minutes until the top of the hour, and Betsy DeVos appears to have a lot of critics. But what happens if you say the proposals without using her name?
A zip code should not determine a child's future. Would you agree with that?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I agree totally.
The outrageous admissions from people who just love to hate her.
And a little boy blocked on the basketball court, all he wanted was a hug from his sister. How the internet is now stepping in to give out hugs.
And beware before you dig into your breakfast this morning if strawberries are on your menu. Why the fruit favorite could actually be bad for your health.
Oh, no.
It makes your teeth white, though.
They do?
Makes them look...
Look at that. That's our intrepid team out there right now driving through Washington, D.C. area.
It's really pretty, though. It is dangerous, but it's beautiful.
Now, to be clear, we have a driver and then we have a photographer separately.
Yes. Important to know.
Yeah.
So nice.
Not shooting selfies.
Yeah, a lot of kids staying home today, a lot of parents, too.
Yeah. Parents love it when the kids have off school. The snowstorm plowing through the Northeast could freeze more than just the streets today.
Yeah, Cheryl Casodi from our sister network, Fox Business, here with how it could impact the stock market. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Well, besides all those kids being at home, I know you lucky parents out there. We call them storm stocks at Fox Business. These are stocks that may move based on the amount of snow. Think of a company like Generac Holdings, generators, okay? That's a stock that you could watch today. Briggs Stratton as well. And then Home Depot. We've all seen our local news reporters out at the Home Depot and the Lowe's yesterday and today. All those sales, I mean, those really do show up in the overall numbers for those companies. And then finally, you can look at that last company, Plow. I mean, you know, making snow equipment. And I will say here in New York, a lot of that stuff was sold out yesterday. So these are storm stocks to watch for today.
I was one of those folks. I did go to the store yesterday, I must admit. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are going to be stuck inside.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are going to be sitting on the couch today watching watching Netflix in this snowstorm, and maybe people on the couch could actually direct their own Netflix show. What's this about?
Would you want to do that, though, Clayton?
I think that's cool.
No, I mean, that's the beauty of vegging out and watching a show because someone else is doing the work for me.
Okay, I'm with you, but a lot of people say they would love to craft the story and pick the ending that they want. Well, Netflix is working on new technology. I wish I had more details on it, Clayton, for you, but basically they're testing it out with some of these kid shows that they've got. Now, the one thing they have right now is called Kong, King of the Apes. It's a kids program, but basically if you can collect power-ups if you're watching it on Netflix, and then you can unlock more video content. That's kind of the first baby step into this. And then they've got a new kids show coming out in the fall, which they may experiment with this.
Well, I did like the Choose Your Own Adventure books as a kid.
I think it's a great idea. I mean, not for a kid's show, but if you're an adult and you have a character you don't like, you can kill them off.
That's a good
I was thinking you'd go the nice, warm, and friendly route, which is you want a nice, pleasant ending.
I went the other way. Yeah. So Caribou Coffee, they're making a big change?
Yeah, so, you know, a lot of people want organic, they want healthy, they don't want chemicals in their food. Well, your coffee is now going to be chemical-free as well. Caribou Coffee is actually getting rid of different things in their coffee. By the end of the year, 100% organic. So think of it like this. No artificial colors, flavors, sweeteners. They want everything to be fresh, real, less processed. A lot of people want their food to be like that now. 70% of Americans, guys, are now reading labels. I was looking at a Consumer Reports study from last year. 70%. So people are thinking, you know, I don't want to consume, digest all this stuff. So Caribou Coffee.
Chemicals. Yeah. Yeah, clean, normal. And today is March 14th, which is also Pi Day.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is
14?
Well, what is pi?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So that is it. Right. The ratio of a circle circumference to its diameter. I had to write that down. Anyway, so pies, whether it's pizza pies or sweet pies, there's deals everywhere from Whole Foods to Boston Market. Blaze Pizza has $3.14 for any pie. Get it? $3.14, March 14th, 3.14. Half.com, by the way, is you can get the paperback version of Life of Pi, the book, for 95% off. So yeah, sweet pie is $3.14 at Whole Foods. Just eat the whole pie. Something to do on snow day.
Remember studying that in school?
Well, you would try to go how long you could go, 3.14, some blah, 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 all the way down the line.
I should have had you do that stuff.
No,
so what do we use it for today?
Well, we
Other
use
than
it for
Pi
pizza.
Day.
We use it for pizza. Thanks, Cheryl.
You bet.
Well, President Trump is looking to repeal and replace Obamacare, but Democrats want the original plan, or they think that the original plan should stay.
So Jesse Waters asked everyday Americans on the streets of New York if they know how it works. Watch.
Do you ladies have health insurance?
Well, I gotta go.
Snap out of it.
Do you like your health care?
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
It's really confusing.
I love it.
That baffles me.
It's satisfying.
Satisfying.
I think I have it, right? Is that Obamacare?
I don't know what you have.
Wait a minute.
You have Obamacare?
Yeah.
How does Obamacare work?
How's it work?
Don't you be looking at me so cockeyed, because I don't want to have to shake your head up to straighten them out.
Good question. Probably 90% of America don't know.
That is correct.
You could compare that to like welfare. Like when you don't have money, welfare's there to help you.
So it's like healthcare welfare.
Yes. See? I like that.
Trump is going to repeal and replace Obamacare. Is that a good idea?
I think the people who already have it should be able to keep it.
If you like your health care plan, you can keep it?
I mean, I think that's the way I think it should work.
I've heard that before. If Democrats are saying Trump care is going to be so bad, why should we believe them when they said Obamacare was going to be so good?
You don't get it all right from the outset. You have to work on it for years and years and years.
Do you know who I am?
No, actually no.
Here we go again.
I'm Waters, I'm Waters, I'm Waters, and this is my world.
Oh. Oh.
You truly scare me.
Love that one guy's hat. Great for today.
I love when we say everyday Americans, where he finds them. Here's an everyday American, Brian Kilmeade. He's in this morning for a look at what's coming up on Fox and Friends in a few minutes.
I prefer my normal introduction, which is run-of-the-mill.
Run-of-the-mill.
Yeah. Average. Nothing special. Nothing stands out. blends in. Hey, let me tell you about something that's not blending in, guys. You know I love Snoop Dogg, and you know I like music videos. I don't like this, though. Snoop Dogg talking about assassinating the President of the United States. Is that okay? Is he just dying for some attention because he hasn't done anything productive in 25 years except play in celebrity basketball games? Plus, Judge Andrew Napolitano will be here, and he's Italian. Stuart Varney will be here, and he's not. Jim Jordan not really for the plan to redo Obamacare into Trump care. He'll explain why. Mick Mulvaney, a good buddy of Jim Jordan's, they vehemently disagree on the way forward when it comes to health care. And Laura Ingraham, always a great opinion, always a great personality. This is a great show. And it's snowing. Please stay indoors.
You know, you forgot about Snoop Dogg's latest venture with Martha Stewart, their cooking show together.
I stand corrected. He's very productive.
Yeah, he's very productive.
Very productive. He also is good at pop water football.
We'll see you in about 10 minutes on Fox and Friends. Thanks, Brian.
Okay.
And we'll be right back right here. Stay with us. Mother Nature's fury on full display at this hour in New York City. We are under a state of emergency. Not too bad yet.
Well, it's because they're doing their work out there, cleaning it up. Schools are closed, subways shut down as the Northeast braces for a crippling storm. Let's get right out to Rob Schmidt, who's live in New York City, out in the mix of it. Hey, Rob.
Yeah, hey guys, yeah, you know it's gonna be a quiet day here in New York City. Aside from this snowstorm, there are some people out here working to clear the sidewalks and stuff, but I don't imagine too many people are going to be going to work today. Most of my buddies have got the day off. Of course, here we are, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, working our butts off, but that's okay. Because that's what we get paid to do. About maybe 3 inches of snow on the ground here. There's been a bit of a reprieve here in the last 10, 15 minutes, which has been nice, but I don't think it's going to last. I think it's going to get a lot worse. There's been thousands of delays and cancellations at the airports. You know, the city's still moving. I mean, they're plowing. People are still able to drive. The taxi cabs are moving up and down the avenues. That's okay. The subways above ground are going to be shut down. But below ground, the underground in Manhattan to get people to critical places is still going to be working. The city is told non-essential employees don't come into work today. You don't need to come in unless you're, you know, a firefighter or a police officer. The schools are closed. It's a shutdown, and they're saying if you don't need to be outside, don't go outside because they're expecting maybe as much as 2 feet of snow here in Manhattan. That is a lot of snow.
Wow.
We'll send it back to you.
Stay in and watch Fox. Thank you. Well, here's the story that we told you about before the break. New meaning to the term March Madness. A high school basketball official, the latest target of internet rage over her so-called heartless reaction to a 3-year-old fan. Watch. This heartbreaking video, look closely, it shows the little boy as he's blocked from giving his older sister a hug. Well, she just won the Wisconsin State Championship. According to their dad, it's their post-game ritual. That tournament official, though, defending her actions, saying that she didn't want the little boy to run into the path of a special needs student who was exiting the court at the same time.
It's hard to see from the video.
Yeah.
All right, Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, not popular among liberal college students, but when it comes to policy, though, they actually like her, as long as you don't say her name when you're asking questions.
We can give a voucher to students in failing school districts or in low-income communities and allow them to pick whatever school they want to go to. So would that be something you think would be a good idea?
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. I think it would be a good idea.
I definitely would support that. Like, I'm not necessarily educated to make 100%.
Most of those students also supported school choice, which DeVos is a big advocate for.
Trick them. Well, the time now, 6 minutes until the top of the hour, and they can turn your life into chaos.
Kids?
But there may be a huge health benefit, Clayton, to having a big family. What do you think?
Absolutely. We know the data.